It's an all new news video that is going live in a live stream, if that makes any sense whatsoever, which it necessarily doesn't. But here we go anyway. We're going to be talking about some of the biggest transfer stories that are currently around. This is going to be a new daily thing I'm going to try and keep up with. Fingers crossed that it does. And we're going to be just basically here talking about some of the biggest stories that are buzzing around the world of football. As always, get involved in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on any of the stories I'm going to be talking about. Also, throw in your suggestions as well if you want to talk about anything as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Do get involved in the comment section and all of that good stuff. Smash a like on the video. As always, comment, like, subscribe, whatever the case may be. Everything will be greatly appreciated throughout the entirety of the stream. But yes, this is going to be basically taking what I tried to do with an all new news video and just moving it more to a live stream daily purpose throughout. So without further ado, let's begin. Let us begin. And today, the big breaking news as we were going live is that Jude Bellingham's saga is officially finally over. He has signed for Real Madrid. That is done, dusted, official, confirmed. Everything else in between. Finally, it's over. Finally, we can lay this saga to rest. We already knew it was going to be laid to rest anyway. We just didn't know if obviously there was going to be a last-minute hiccup or some sort of last-second U-turn by either party involved in this. But now we can finally say that Jude Bellingham will be a Real Madrid player. That is done, dusted, made official and confirmed. Sign a 6-year deal. This guy is going to be part of the future of Real Madrid as well as the present. This guy is going to be a part of a Real Madrid midfield that has obviously regenerated from the usual suspects of Toni Kroos, Casemiro, and of course, Luka Modric. It now changes. You've got Chouameni, you've got Camavinga, and now you've got Jude Bellingham. Federico Valverde is obviously in there as well, but there has been some speculation surrounding his future. And of course, with the news of Kylian Mbappe wanting to leave PSG, or PSG wanting to get rid of Kylian Mbappe, whichever way round you wanna hear it. Both things can necessarily be true at the same time. There has been some speculation surrounding his future. Maybe, just maybe, Valverde might be on the move to maybe accommodate, financial-wise, at the very least, a move for Kylian Mbappe going forward. Mbappe, we will speak on a little later. But no, this is a fantastic move for Bellingham. This is a brilliant move by Real Madrid, of course, solidifies and sets in stone pretty much their midfield for the next 10 years or so. The next decade is going to be basically a regenerated version of the Casemiro, Modric, and Kroos midfield. And like I say, a great move by all involved. They've got an all-round great midfielder, and I cannot wait to see how he develops over time and how he continues to grow and evolve in the game. And I think that him going to La Liga, him going to Real Madrid, playing in that all-famous white strip of Madrid, the infamous La Liga team, the Spanish Giants, is going to only help him grow as a footballer, as a man, as a leader. And, you know, in some ways, fingers crossed, it works out for him. It wasn't to be him going back to the Premier League or anything along those lines, but it is what it is. We all knew about that. I've made a few videos on it in the past, so do go check them out if obviously you are wanting more of my comments, thoughts, opinions, whatever you want to call it, on Jude Bellingham. Go back and sort that out. It's been well documented over time. But yes, today is the day that it has been made absolutely 100% official. Jude Bellingham has signed for Real Madrid on the day, of course, that the transfer window is open. I know that it doesn't really make any sense because transfers can happen at pretty much any time. We've already seen Alexis McAllister move to Liverpool, for example, so it doesn't really make a difference that the transfer window is officially open. My personal opinion, it really should open as soon as the season finishes, I believe anyway, because teams just do their business outside the transfer window anyway. So what would be the point in delaying it any further? But it is what it is. The transfer window is officially open. Jude Bellingham has officially signed for Real Madrid. Moving on, Liverpool. Kephren Thuram. How you doing, Bellingham? Nice to see you, bro. No, just a normal Wolfsburg shirt. I'm afraid. Yeah, just a normal Wolfsburg shirt. Oh, Werder Bremen. What am I saying Wolfsburg for? Oh, you freaking idiot. Right. Liverpool, Kephren Thuram. Apparently, there's a new round of talks that are going to be implemented by Liverpool. Caught offside reports that Liverpool have scheduled a fresh round of talks with Nice as they look for a breakthrough in negotiations for Kephren Thuram. Personal terms of the player have already been agreed. We talked about this before. We talked about Kephren Thuram and about how personal terms are seemingly no issue whatsoever with Liverpool. He is going to be on the move this summer, or it looks like he's going to be on the move. And that I was really excited that if Liverpool managed to pull off this deal, now it's being said that somewhere in the region of 50 million could be enough to tempt him or tempt Nice to sell him. But we wait and see on that. There is talks that maybe Nice are having second thoughts about that potential price tag. Maybe they're going to hike up the price tag. We're going to have to wait and see on that score what happens there, but everything is seemingly moving nicely. Obviously, transfer window is now open, so you can expect maybe the wheels to go a bit faster in this story towards reaching maybe a conclusion. But Liverpool are seemingly very much on the tail of this pursuit of this midfielder, and rightfully so, in my opinion. We talked about him before, and we've said that this guy is looks like what Liverpool kind of need in that midfield in terms of physicality, in terms of tenacity, in terms of work rate, and an industrial sort of mentality and work rate. This guy is what Liverpool have been missing a large part of this season, and I think that this guy is what Liverpool will need going forward, and I think he'd be a very worthy addition to this Liverpool side. And as I've said before, I think he upgrades the signing of Alexis McAllister to be even bigger and better due to what he can offer and what he can bring to this Liverpool side that can complement, shall we say, the likes of Alexis McAllister as well as the other players that are around him. It's busy. Liverpool loan out Calvin Ramsey, sell Adrian now. Yeah, Calvin Ramsey went yesterday. That was to be expected. I hope he does well in the Championship with Preston. That was to be expected. It'd be interesting to see what Liverpool's plan is. I remember speaking to you about it yesterday in terms of what Liverpool's plan is going forward in terms of maybe covering for him, covering that right back sort of role and everything along those lines. So it'd be interesting to see. Sell Adrian. I think he's only recently just signed a new deal, hasn't he, with Liverpool? So I don't think they're going to be selling him just yet. But I kind of agree with you in some ways. I don't think he's necessarily good enough. I'm good. Liverpool do need more midfielders in. Yeah, nice to hear that you're good, bro. You're very good myself. Just woke up on this again. Fine Wednesday morning. Like I say, this is going to be sort of something I try and do daily now. Try and do a daily sort of all New-Newz video in which I have some talking points to talk about, but also getting the viewers involved as well, that kind of thing. And yeah, I agree with you. More midfielders are needed. I'd say 2 more midfielders are needed. If we can get Thuram, that's an amazing continuation from McAllister. And then we need someone else. And Manu Kone, that's always been rumoured and talked about. He could be a worthy addition as well, but we'll wait and see on that. Do you think Kylian will move this summer or only a rumour? I'll get onto that a little later. I'll talk more about Kylian Mbappe like I previously did in another live stream. Mina Mangal, nice of you to join us, bro. Appreciate that. If Sir Jim buys United, then Thuram is not going to Liverpool. I think, well, there's always business to be done. Let's put it that way. Everyone's always got a price, and we wonder, of course, whether that will be the case or not. Liverpool trying to get this deal done and dusted very quickly, but business is business at the end of the day. I don't know whether or not that will be the case, whether selling him to Liverpool or whether or not there is something in maybe Erik ten Hag maybe taking a shine to him, and maybe there's some sort of weird business going on there. Depends really what the kind of implications are for that kind of thing. But it does look more likely that the Saudis are going to be involved with Manchester United going forward, doesn't it? So again, we wait and see on this very long and very drawn out takeover that's happening at Manchester United. They'll be hoping it ties up very soon so that they can get some clear direction and clear indication of where their summer is going to be taking them. But it does look a little bit promising and optimistic if you're a United fan, not going to lie. And believe me, I hate saying that. Laura Woods is now TNT Sports host after TNT is new BT Sport. Always leaves TalkSport. Here we go. Thoughts? Is that confirmed, TNT? Because I saw that there were rumours. I'm not sure if that's confirmed to be TNT, but she's a breath of fresh air in the sports broadcasting sort of world. So, breath of fresh air. I think she's great. Brings her own kind of personality and spin to things. So, very fresh face, very fresh in terms of approach and broadcasting. And if she is going to be that, or if she's going to be the new host of Soccer Saturday or anything, yeah, then it's a great sort of it's a great addition to those kinds of broadcasting teams, and I think she's going to be brilliant wherever she goes, really. So that is all that. But yes, Kephren Thuram to Liverpool. Very intrigued by this. I want this to happen so much because, like I say, he looks like the kind of player that Liverpool have been lacking this summer, and I'm very interested to see what will come about of this, whether this will actually happen, the whole kind of Nice thing, the potential takeover that could be an extra layer to add to this story. We'll wait and see. Obviously, on what happens with that. But I'm very intrigued by this. Liverpool seemingly moving in the right direction. They're making the inquiries, the probes, everything to go along with the usual kind of implications of a transfer story. So we'll obviously wait and see on that. Min-Jae will get many South Korean fans watching in the Premier League. Will be interesting. Min-Jae raises from Turkey League to the Premier League has been good. Well, you see what Son Heung-min, the influence that he has on Tottenham, and this kind of leads nicely into my next talking point of Kim Min-Jae, actually. So thank you for that. You see the influence that Son has at Tottenham, how much eyes in South Korea that he brings to the Tottenham product, the kind of touristy nature of it, the kind of influence that Son has over there, and all of that good stuff that obviously makes for good business. He will definitely have that, and especially being with at an iconic and sort of big club in Manchester United, of course, that will seemingly be the case. What we know of this Kim Min-Jae deal is that allegedly on the 1st of July, a release clause will become active in his contract. Allegedly, there will be something in the region of 60 million euros that will become active. Manchester United are said to have no issue in paying that. Or matching that, or whatever the case may be for that. He will then be going to Manchester United in the foreseeable future. Is this a good move by United? It looks to be a good move by United. He's been a very big part of Napoli's rise to the Scudetto this season and winning the Serie A title. Obviously, what we know about him is that he's a 26-year-old South Korean centre-back, plays more on the left side, but can be versatile enough to switch either position, and especially when you consider that Lisandro Martinez is going to be left-sided. Varane, his injuries are picking up a bit more frequently. Maybe this is something that can be mainly looked at there. He looks a very, very good centre-back. And I know that he's had a lot of interest in him from a lot of Premier League clubs, not just Manchester United down recent months. It's been a lot to... There's been a lot to this guy. There's been a lot of interest in this guy. And what we know is that he's played many times. I think he's only missed like 2 Serie A games or something. So he's ever present in that Napoli side this season. Played very, very well. He's consistent. He's strong. He's good in the air. So he's got a good aerial presence about him, whether it be defending or whether it be adding something to attacking set pieces and everything. He's smart, but he's smart and he's got a good positional sense. And that's really where the kind of where he's turned some heads, shall we say. That's really the kind of attributes and traits and everything as to where he's won over a lot of fans and a lot of pundits and so much alike, because it's about his positioning off the ball that has really got people talking. He's got good positional awareness. He's intelligent. He's smart off the ball. And again, like I say, his defending has been quality for Napoli this season. Will he be able to bring that kind of form over from Serie A to the Premier League? Obviously remains to be seen. We do know it's a bit of a slower league out there. We do know that it's a bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Like I say, it's a bit more of a slower league over there. It's a bit more of a reserved league, shall we say. They rely more on the defending over there. It's not as frantic or as quick as the Premier League is on a consistent basis. So it'll be interesting to see if he can bring that form over. Remember, we all thought Koulibaly was amazing for Napoli, and he was amazing for Napoli. And then he came over to the Premier League, and so far it hasn't exactly gone according to plan for him. Now, of course, Koulibaly is a little bit older and has obviously had issues with obviously how Chelsea have been running themselves this past year or so. So maybe there are issues there with Koulibaly going forward. But of course, with Min-Jae, he does look like he's going to be a solid defender. And I think when you look at his stats as well, the stats don't necessarily lie. Like, he's been one of the better performing defenders across Europe throughout this season. And I think that United have got a real gem on their hands in this guy. And it looks to be interesting for United again going forward. Min-Jae will join United or Newcastle if he want to play in the Premier League. United wants to pay the release clause and Min-Jae wants to join United. Yeah, everything seems to be going in United's favour on this. I'm a little bit surprised, really, because obviously the takeover thing still hasn't been decided. But I think United must be confident that it will be decided and done and dusted by the time that his release clause kicks in. So I'm assuming that's a bit of an indication that everything will be done and dusted. There are reports saying that everything will be made crystal clear within the next week or two, as in regards to the United takeover and everything. So we'll wait and see on that one. But yes, everything does seem to be going in United's favour, whether it be the takeover or whether it be in terms of transfers like Min-Jae going forward. Jadon Sancho, I expect, will stay as homegrown player for them. If he goes on loan to Borussia Dortmund, will be interesting if he can get some form. Yeah, we'll move on to Jadon Sancho later on in the video. 1 year since your Erling Haaland video. Yeah, he's not done bad in this first year, has he? He's definitely not done bad. And the scary part is I think he's only going to get even better. So, great. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for him to continue to terrorise every single Premier League defence in the country. Borussia Dortmund, last few years, do love an English player to get eyes from English viewers from UK. It's not just that as well. I just think they're good at spotting gems. And, of course, they give them a very good platform to go and express themselves. And it's not just young English players as well. It's young players of every country and generation and everything. So be interesting to see who's next to leave from that Dortmund sort of young setup, shall we say. There are some good players in there. There are some good youngsters in the mix with Dortmund, as there always is. But again, like, their main goal is to try and dethrone Bayern at the top of the Bundesliga tree, isn't it? And knock them off their throne, so to speak. And they have an incredible opportunity to do so this season, and they bottled it on the last day of the season. So we'll wait and see on Dortmund and whether or not they can continue to progress, or whether or not they can actually go one step further next season. Bayern are not the same as what they were in previous years, and I don't know. Under Thomas Tuchel, you never quite know. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what happens in the Bundesliga next season. Very intrigued on that one. Next story. Keeman Kelleher of Liverpool, the goalkeeper that is second in line to that number one spot behind, obviously, Alisson Becker, the best in the world. That's what I love to say. That's what I love to say about Alisson Becker. Like, he's, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world. I made a video yesterday and I made a tier list of Liverpool's keep, sell, or loan squad edition. And I said that Kelleher, for me, will be sold this summer. And it looks that way. There are growing reports and gaining momentum that Kelleher will be sold this summer. And with the transfer window now open, with David Raya on the move, whether that's to Tottenham or whether that is to Spurs, we'll wait and see. Kelleher might be on Brentford's shopping list this summer. And it makes sense. Kelleher is a very good goalkeeper, in my opinion. He's been a good backup to Alisson over the past couple of years. Of course, he's helped Liverpool towards a couple of domestic, the domestic double last season. Obviously played in the final of the Carabao Cup against Chelsea and performed very well in that one. Maybe we should have sold him last summer when maybe his stock and maybe his interest was a little higher than what it is right now. But I don't think no one could have really predicted the sort of downfall that Liverpool were going to be on across this season. But I think for him, what is he, like 23, 24 years of age? He's not exactly majorly young, but I guess in terms of being a goalkeeper, he's still relatively young because goalkeepers can seemingly go on until their late 30s, early 40s. It might be the perfect time to move him on. And it's not ideal for Liverpool because he kind of fits into their homegrown quota. He's obviously a very good goalkeeper, and it's always difficult to find a second choice goalkeeper, especially to someone who, in a lot of people's eyes, not just my own, and Min-Jae agrees with me, even though he's a United fan, he says that Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the world. Always difficult to find that number two goalkeeper. So it will be difficult for Liverpool to replace. Obviously, they have Adrian still, and you know my thoughts on Adrian are to get rid. But even if it is, hopefully that Alisson stays fit and healthy and everything. That even if we do need Adrian for the one occasional game every now and again, maybe he can put in the sort of good performance, because when he first arrived at Liverpool, he did kind of do that to an extent, and it's just over time he sort of deteriorated and gone quite bad. And that's why obviously Kelleher has rose in the past couple of years to the point where he is now behind Alisson as the second choice goalkeeper. But if he does go to Brentford, I think it'll be a good move for Brentford. I think it's a guy with a bit of experience under his belt, and it's a guy who is good with the ball at his feet to an extent. Obviously, the way that they like to play, he's a good shot stopper as well, to an extent, from what we've seen of him, obviously. And I think it would be a good move for him, for his career to continue to grow and evolve. And I think it will be a good move for Liverpool to cash in on him as well. Like I say, it's not ideal for the Liverpool homegrown quota of their squad registration, but at the same time, I think it'll be suitable for all parties. And especially when the reports are supposedly he could move for 20 million, that is a pretty good move for everybody considered. You need the current new season Dortmund shirt. I've always wanted a Dortmund shirt. I need to get a Dortmund shirt. I definitely need to get one. Do you think Sadio Mane will leave? Eden Hazard going Chelsea or elsewhere? He is available for free. Will be interesting. In my opinion, he's going Saudi Arabia. Like, he's done with football. Like, he had that massive move to Real Madrid, and it has not worked out at all. He's had numerous injuries. I think he's just given up with football. I think he's looking for Saudi Arabia to come in, give him one last payday, and then he's just going to settle off into the sunset with all the kind of pies and chips and KFC and pizza and all the other stuff that, you know, made him what he is. Allison, best goalkeeper. Yeah, I've read that. Nice one. Appreciate that. I agree. Your American viewers want to know, is Messi good? Is Christian Pulisic leaving? He is Captain America, the Wonder Kid superstar. I still remember seeing that clip of like, is Christian Pulisic? He's like, what is it? The Michael Jordan of football or something along those lines. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, I remember that clip on like, it was like one of them storage war or antique kind of shows or whatever it may be. I forgot. Adrian helped Liverpool win league. Thanks to that, he should be moved on and went elsewhere in the Premier League or Spain. Yeah, I think he was also the goalkeeper when Liverpool won the Super Cup as well. Whether you take the Super Cup seriously or not is another question, but he did help Liverpool win that in that final against Chelsea as well. So, you know, he's got a bit of a legacy and a bit of history with the club as well. But like I say, I just think it's time for him to move on. Yeah, whatever the case may be. Real Madrid signing Jude is good for their midfield. Yeah, regenerates their midfield. We talked about this earlier. Regenerates their midfield completely. Camavinga, Chouameni, Bellingham. That midfield is pretty much set in stone for the next 10 years. Valverde, if he stays, like I say, there has been a bit of speculation surrounding him, especially with the Mbappe news, because obviously Real Madrid might need to free up some funds, and maybe Valverde is seen as someone that they can let go. And allegedly, Liverpool have been linked. And I personally would love that. I like Valverde. I think he's a quality player, very versatile. And I think that it could make for very intriguing reading and a very intriguing transfer should that happen. Do I think it will happen? Absolutely not. I highly doubt it, but I can only hope and dream on that score. Should De Gea join Saudi Arabia club? United want to keep him. But United are interested in a couple of goalkeepers. There's the David Raya links, which, again, between them and Tottenham, it's pretty obvious which one I think Raya would rather go to. If United are serious about David Raya, that is. And then there is the Diego Costa link as well from Porto. Yes, as Ballon points out, Diego Costa has been linked as well. Very intriguing which one they go for. I think out of the two, I think United might prefer the Porto goalkeeper rather than the Brentford one. Not just because of the team they play for, but I think they probably see him as the better option. We'll wait and see on that one. We'll wait and see on that one. Like, I think there are a few. Like I say, there's so many stories linking with United, but I think the thing that's stopping it all from happening is obviously this takeover. Like, this takeover needs to happen for everything then to fall into place. The Mason Mount deal, for example, the goalkeeper situation, obviously the Min-Jae thing. Like, it all needs to fall into place following this takeover. Liverpool signed Valverde. Do they have 100 million to sign him? They can't sign Bellingham for 110 million. I don't think the price tag would be 100 million. But you know, there's always weird reports. There were reports linking Liverpool with a move for Caicedo, and Brighton was saying they weren't going to sell him for anything under than like 100 million. So it's bizarre. Like, there'll always be random things like that. It's whether you believe it or not. I personally like it just because it's linking Liverpool, and obviously that's just what I love to hear. But at the same time, I don't put too much stock into it until obviously it's confirmed by a more reliable source, should we say. Porto goalkeeper is the next big thing, but De Gea needs to leave for him to come. Oh, absolutely. I think you're going to get rid of both De Gea and Dean Henderson, and obviously Forest will love to take Dean Henderson off your hands for you. De Gea, his time has come. Like, he saved you a number of times down the years. He's been brilliant for a large part of his career at Man United. But the time has come for him to go. He's making too many mistakes now. He'll make an absolutely world-class save, and then he'll let in about 3 very easy goals that he should have saved originally. So I think his time at United has come. Your American fans want to know, will goalkeeper Stefan go back to Middlesbrough on loan? Is Manchester the goalkeeper? No idea, mate. No idea. No idea about that one. Your Canadian viewers want to know, Jonathan David, is he going to Bayern? He is good friends with Alphonso Davies. What do you talk about? No idea, mate. No idea what I talk about with Romano. Like, no idea. There was a lot of speculation, though, surrounding Jonathan David, wasn't there, not so long ago? Bayern are in need of a striker. Bayern have obviously talked about Harry Kane already. They've talked about other people as well, I assume. Jonathan David could be an option. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Bayern. There's so much going on with Bayern. I think they just need a complete rebuild, to be honest, because they're not a threatening team in Europe anymore. I remember when I used to be scared of maybe getting a Bayern. I'm worried about them. They're still a good team, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like this season, just getting battered the way that they did by Manchester City, the fear factor's gone for me now completely. And maybe it should have gone maybe a year or so ago, but the fear factor for me for Bayern is gone. Maybe they made a wrong decision in sacking Julian Nagelsmann and replacing him with Thomas Tuchel at that time. I can't really say for sure, but like I say, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Bayern going forward, especially because they didn't win the Bundesliga title as convincingly as they normally do. They got kicked out of the Champions League pretty early. I know they had a very tough tie against Manchester City, but it was quite convincing the way that they got kicked out of that competition. Be interesting to see what happens with Bayern going forward. What else are we going to talk about today? Jadon Sancho. Let's talk Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho allegedly could be available to leave Manchester United this summer. Number of teams rumored to be interested. One in particular is Tottenham Hotspur. Allegedly, Tottenham can have him for the fee of £60 million. Now, whether or not you agree with that, it, to me, doesn't make the most sense for Tottenham to go after him. Now, for me, a fresh start for Sancho, and I've said this before, actually, a fresh start for Sancho, I think, would do him the world of good. I think Sancho moving away from Manchester United, going to a team with a little bit less expectation, a little bit less demand, may do him the world of good. A fresh start, a clean start elsewhere, somewhere where he can have a clean slate to maybe rebuild his football career again. Because when he moved from Dortmund to Manchester United, he was being built as the next big thing. He was being built as this player that has got the world at his feet. He's going to be a quality signing, quality player. And I talked about him loads. And I said that this guy is going to absolutely kill it at Manchester United. Now, of course, United have had their problems during his career, whether it be in numerous new managers not playing him in his right position, numerous new managers not coaching him properly, not managing him properly, or whether it be Sancho himself, whether it be through injuries, whether it be through attitude or mentality or something going on behind the scenes. Either way, a combination of maybe all of the above has seemingly saw Sancho's performances decline, his form decline to the point where no one's really interested in talking about Sancho anymore. Does that mean there isn't still a player in there? Of course not. There is still a player in there, in my opinion. And I think with the right squad around him, with the right manager, I think that you can possibly get a very good Jadon Sancho. Is that club Tottenham? In my opinion, not necessarily. Number of reasons. Number one, Tottenham don't need another right winger. I know that obviously the Kulusevski thing is a bit up in the air right now. They're not 100% sure if that's going to be set in stone or whether or not Tottenham are going to just move on and miss out. But 35 million for a player that's been there for the past couple of years, why would you not go after him? And why would you rather go after a Jadon Sancho who may not be the best fit, may not be entirely the best fit for that club, for that position, for that everything. Number two, I think he fit with Tottenham a little bit more than what he would with United, but I don't think it would be perfect. For me, Sancho doesn't have the explosive pace. He doesn't have that kind of mentality to run at his opponent. He likes to play things simple. He likes to play things safe. He's not fast. He's not quick. His speed is average. He's got great technical ability. He can carry the ball really well. He's nice. He looks nice on the ball. All that good stuff. But he's just not quick enough. He's not fast. And the Tottenham side that 9 times out of 10 would rely on counter-attacking football in recent years, and maybe on the Postecoglou it might be a similar sort of thing, or we might look to try and change the way that they play. There's a bit of a question mark there. We're waiting to see on that, but I just don't think he'd be the most perfect fit for a Tottenham side. But I do agree that a clean slate for him, a change in scenery, a change in background may do him the world of good. I just feel that, and I genuinely believe that will be the case. What are you guys saying? David's apparently might leave Bayern and join somewhere like Barcelona if they have the money. Again, like you say, it does depend on the money situation with Bayern. There's a lot of things up in the air with Barcelona right now. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think it'd be a good move, especially with like Jordi Alba leaving, and obviously Barca looking to continuously try and make money by constantly rotating their squad and everything. So just trying to stay one step ahead of the of debt collectors. Bayern would have beaten City without Upper Maguire and with a good striker. Bayern shot themselves in the foot this season, getting rid of Lewandowski despite his age and replacing him with Sadio Mane. Like, I love Sadio Mane's pieces, and I was sad to see him leave. But at the same time, I didn't think he would be enough for Bayern in a striking sense, or whether it would be moving like they have done Gnabry to striker, or Sane to a striker, or whoever these kind of players are that have been playing winger for years and moving them to strike. It baffles me. It really did baffle me. And obviously it hasn't quite worked out for Mane with his move to the German Giants. It's just like Rashford's story. Last season, PSG want Rashford for 50 million. And this season, he is amazing. And now Sancho's story. Sancho just lacks confidence next season. He could be world class. Yeah, but if this is to follow in the footsteps of that Rashford story, then of course Sancho is to stay on at Manchester United. Ten Hag is to play him more regularly, and then he is to actually come into his own and start producing more and more than he has done already. I don't think that will happen, because I think the FA Cup final just summed it up really, that Sancho needs to be forgotten about and Garnacho is the way forward, because Garnacho did more in that 15-minute cameo or whatever it was than Sancho did in the entirety of the game. For me, Garnacho needs to play more next season. He looked a real live wire when he came on. It looked like he was the only one in that Manchester United attack that actually wanted to do something in that game and looked like they wanted to go for City's throat. And, you know, you could argue was a little unlucky not to have maybe got a goal or tested the goalkeeper a bit more, because he had a couple of good opportunities to do so. For me, like I say, I think that final just summed it all up really, and I think that kind of nailed the final nail in the Jadon Sancho coffin at Manchester United. A move away could do him the world of good. I think he needs to go to a team that counter-attacks. I think what you saw at Dortmund. And there is another point that I'll come on to a little after this point, but I think what you saw at Dortmund was a team that doesn't necessarily have every team against them sitting back. The teams that Dortmund were facing teams that would come onto them a little bit more hand, like try and force their authority on it. And Sancho works well in a counter-attacking sort of style, more so than what United could play. I think what also helped at Dortmund was having a proper number 9 striker. Sancho had Haaland to work on. Sancho had Paco Alcazar to work off. Sancho has a couple of these proper strikers alongside him to work off. And I think that's what's helped. I don't think United not having a proper striker for a few years or for a couple of years hasn't helped him necessarily. And I think, like I say, there's been other issues as well in terms of managers, in terms of himself, in terms of whoever it may be behind the scenes not helping him. But yeah, I think that could possibly help him as well. And, you know, going to a Tottenham where there is a striker in Harry Kane could maybe help him a little bit more. We wait and see what happens with Sancho. There's a massive question mark over him, but it's going to be a massive season for him next season, whether he stays at United or not, in terms of his development, his growth in the game. But so far, like I say, the big money move, the big highly anticipated move from Dortmund to Manchester United clearly and obviously hasn't worked out for the best. What else are we going to talk about? I was going to say Harry Maguire, but there doesn't seem to be too much on that other than the fact that Tottenham are seen as heavy favourites to sign him. And I'll go back to what I stated beforehand. If Postecoglou's philosophy and ideology and style of play is to be more attacking on the front foot and push higher up the pitch, Maguire isn't your guy because he doesn't have the pace and he doesn't have the quick reaction to sense danger before it's actually there. He's reactive rather than proactive. Some defenders react quicker than others, and obviously Maguire, I would say, is on the slower side of that reaction scale. If they are playing a deep line and they're going to look to try and counter-attack, then he's your guy. But for me, if they're going to play more attacking and more on the front foot, Maguire definitely is not your guy. Like, he gets a nosebleed when he's on. He gets a nosebleed when he's on the halfway line. He's slow. And in my opinion, if you're going to play him in a back four, in a back five, you might be able to get away with it. But in a back four, if you're going to play him alongside Christian Romero, who has all the makings of a very good defender, but is still very rash, goes diving in because he goes chasing after the ball too much. For me, Maguire and Romero are a recipe for disaster. We'll wait and see if there's any legs and truth to this. But like I said previously, if Maguire goes to a Crystal Palace, if he goes to a West Ham, if he goes to an Aston Villa that are slightly more defensively solid, that are slightly more defensively deep in their back line, I think there is still a good player in there. But if he goes to a team that's going to try and play on the front foot, you're going to see the same old Maguire that you've seen at Manchester United for time and time again. A Maguire that gets the ball, panics, falls over because he's clumsy, loses the ball, yells at his teammates when they concede a goal, and doesn't take any responsibility. That's just the way that I see it. Sancho just lacks confidence next season. If Sancho leaves and then Neymar to United is on. To be fair, if you get the Saudis, maybe Mbappe to United is on. Who knows? Tottenham, please sign Maguire. I think you echo a lot of what United fans are thinking in terms of this transfer story. I agree with you. Like, if I was a United fan, I would be begging Tottenham to give them all the money you can and rent them for all the money you can to obviously sign Maguire. Maguire made Lindelof look bad. Imagine how scared would Romero be alongside him. Yeah, like I say, I think it's a recipe for disaster. Like I say, I don't mind Romero. I think he's a good defender, and I think he's got all the makings to get even better. I just, from what I've seen the past several months of Romero since the World Cup, is that this is a hot-headed player, likes a challenge, likes to tackle, likes to go to ground, but that makes him extremely rash. And that's why you've seen him pick up a couple of red cards. That's why you've seen him make a couple of bad challenges and give away stupid free kicks that Tottenham have conceded from, or Tottenham have conceded chances from, or whatever the case may be. In my opinion, you partner a hothead like that alongside a player like Maguire, who is very slow, not quick at reacting, puts the blame on everybody else, panics when he has the ball at his feet, despite the fact that he's meant to be very good with the ball at his feet, despite being obviously a giant. I don't see it working. Unless you've got a 3 at the back, it could work, but you need an extremely strong and positionally aware defender. You need someone with absolute smart and intelligent kind of positioning, a proper leader in that pitch to guide both men through a 90-minute game. I don't understand why Tottenham would go after this guy unless they are planning on maybe changing their philosophy and style of play a little bit to be more deeper defensively and look to try and launch counter-attacks. Don't get me wrong, as far as playing on his own box is concerned, if he can obviously get... don't know why that's gone off. Obviously, if he's going to be on his own 18-yard area, if he's going to be just standing there and being the giant and obviously dealing with crosses, that's fine. If he's going to be the aerial presence in the opposition box as well to attack from set pieces, that's fine. But if he's going to be on the halfway line, he's going to panic, he's going to get a nosebleed, and he's going to cause the Tottenham defence so many issues. And like I say, it's only going to continue to get worse as far as what Maguire is concerned, as far as his football career goes. So that is obviously what I believe on that one. Finally, we're going to wrap this up with Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. A couple of days ago, he dropped the bombshell on PSG that he was not going to be extending his contract with them when it originally does expire next year. PSG have turned around to him and said, we don't plan on losing you on a free, so we may have to look at selling you this summer. What I say, or what a lot of people have said is, where does he go? Is this negotiation tactics for a better, even better contract than what he originally got when obviously we were in this position a couple of years ago where we expected him to leave? We'll wait and see. We wait and see. Allegedly, there are still talks with Premier League clubs. Allegedly, there is still interest from Real Madrid, and you'd probably expect that, obviously, given it is Real Madrid, given the fact that, you know, they were interested before. They had allegedly a verbal agreement for him before. It's just going to be interesting to see what happens. Like I say, Real Madrid still interested, and they've got assets to sell if that is obviously the only issue that stands between them getting Mbappe or them not getting Mbappe. They've got assets to sell. Valverde being one of them. Like I say, please come to Liverpool. Please come to Liverpool. I think you'd be amazing. But yeah, they've got assets to sell. If that's what's standing in, if finances are standing in their way of obviously acquiring such a phenomenal talent, people will say, well, Vinicius took the number 7 shirt. Do you think the number 7 shirt is going to stop him from making a dream move to Real Madrid? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. A shirt will not. Plus, you know, he could play along anywhere on that forward line. He play on the right, play in the centre, play on the left. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It'll get you goals. It'll win trophies. As long as he's winning trophies, I don't think he'll matter too much. There's obviously the Manchester United link should a Saudi takeover thing go through. If that is to be the case, what a signing that would be. What a statement that would be for Manchester United, for their new owners, for the fans. And then, of course, as I predicted, I still think there might be something in Saudi Arabia. And there could potentially be Saudi links come in for Mbappe going forward if the fallout does continue of this going forward. Obviously, it's still early days. Obviously, the transfer window is only just opened. Obviously, this news is still developing from being broken very late Monday night. But we're waiting to see, obviously, what the future holds for Kylian Mbappe. I'd love to know what you guys think on that one as well, because this one could be a very intriguing and very, very, very hot saga to go into the summer with, even hotter than the kind of weather has been this week. But yeah, those are just my thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, on all of these stories. Thank you all so much for watching, listening, getting involved in the comment section as well. That's all very much appreciated, and do continue that. Obviously, when this stream does end, would love to obviously hear more from you, see more from you, and anything else that you want to talk about, anything football related, of course, would be greatly appreciated. Anything I talked about already, greatly appreciated. Anything along those lines, or just greatly appreciated. But like I always say, those are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. This guy, I want to know what you guys think. Anything that you want to talk about, whether I've talked about it already or anything else that you want to talk about for maybe a future video or a future live stream, do drop in the comment section. We'll make it interesting and great reading always. Hit the like button on the way up. Enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another all new news video. Expect to see more of these daily going forward. Live daily, where we round up and talk about some of the biggest headlines within the world of football. Until next time, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch, and I'll see you all again soon in another video or live stream.